Hello and welcome to a quick video where I'll be talking to Neal Byers, founder of WorkfromHub, a little bit about your collaboration with Hive IT and how we've ended up collaborating to create these hubs. So do you want to start off by telling us how that started? How come you came to Hive IT?
I know Johnny Rippon really well. So we met when we were both at uni through a mutual friend, and we've just kept in touch over the years, played footy together. Probably lost a little bit touch when we both had kids, but got back in touch quite recently. And yeah, just through that, and I knew that he'd set up Hive, and together we sounded like a great business, and I kept a bit of a view from a distance, and then just started chatting to him about the idea, and he said he think he could help. We started getting involved, and it was a great start.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one for us because I suppose we haven't done anything like this before, but then at the same time, I'm guessing you've not done anything quite like this before either.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's, I had no idea that you hadn't done anything like this before, and it certainly hasn't come across at all because it seems like everybody knows what they're doing all the time. So yeah, it's perhaps a new experience, but certainly one that everybody's picked up and just got on with.
Yeah, but I guess that kind of puts us both in the same boat, like both Hive and WorkfromHub working together. It's just new to all of us, but I think it sounds to me like everyone's just been kind of on the same page throughout, and communication's been quite good. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how the collaboration has actually worked in terms of us maybe like communicating throughout the project?
Yeah, sure. So we've had to do most of what we've done remotely, which has its great things and has its challenges. So it's been really easy for us to get together virtually and remotely. And the good thing about the way you guys work is that there's been a single point of contact who's brought everybody together. So kind of corralling the skills people and the tech and the dev people to make sure that they're available at times, and also bringing us together in real life. So when we've had those needs to just thrash something out and work through, particularly around exploring who we are as a business, what we're trying to tell people and how we're trying to develop it, and just getting everybody's ideas from around the table. So not just things coming from me as the founder, but all the ideas from all the different people and all the different backgrounds and skills and experiences, and just being able to map that out and come to some new ideas that I wouldn't think of myself has been a really great way to work both remotely and physically as well.
Yeah, and talking about working physically, how have you found the workshops?
Yeah, really good. And I think it's always, when you're creating something from scratch, it always starts really messy. But I think what we found through every workshop we've done, we've walked away thinking that was amazing. Like just like a messy start and ideas all over the place, but actually just doing a bit of structuring, a bit of prioritization, whatever it is, you come out with a really clear idea at the end of it. So every single one we've done together has been great for us, moving us on and getting us to the next stage and getting really clear in terms of what we need to do next.
So what workshops have we done? Has there been a branding one? Is that right?
Yeah, so it's branding and a bit about almost like who we are as a business and what's our tone of voice and how do we want to communicate with the world, and almost setting ourselves up to kind of explore what's our place in the world. And that was really good fun. And I think we all kind of had the same idea, which was great. We all kind of settled on this. We understood what the business is trying to do, and actually we're trying to kind of look after people and create a great place for people to work. So we all kind of came to this idea around kind of being a concierge and looking after people. So it's great kind of going through. You could be anything, but actually settling it down on an idea was great.
Before working with Hive, had you kind of created a vision in your head for the sort of branding side of things?
I didn't have a clear vision in my head. I've got this balance myself between being quite serious but also wanting to have fun. And I think perhaps through the workshops that was drawn out a little bit. So I think a lot of the vision does come from me as the founder, and it's my business, it's my product, it's my idea. But actually being able to stretch that a little bit with other people's input is really useful. So yeah, it certainly wasn't clear, and branding is not an area that I've necessarily done much work in, so it's really useful to have a bit of a shape to get to a point where we come up with the best answer we can today. So yeah, that's really useful to kind of go through in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you found any challenges throughout the process working with Hive? You can be honest with it.
Yeah.
Like, we won't be offended at all.
No. I think just it's kind of getting clear in terms of kind of managing the project and organising different people at different times. So there's me and my team, and then there's the Hive team and people in there, and actually getting everybody together at the same time and making sure we all know who's doing what. I think that took a little bit of time to settle down, but once we settled it down and got it really clear, that it worked really well.
Yeah.
So I think it's always difficult. I think when we were relying on Hive quite a lot to do that, and we got to the point where it's happening really smoothly. So yeah, it's kind of that almost, I guess it's normal when you're performing a project to just settle things down a little bit, so you've got that kind of clear way of working, and we got through that stage easily enough.
And I suppose working remotely doesn't really help with that kind of thing either.
No, it doesn't. Although actually, in some ways it does, because it is easier to get people together quickly. So if we had an office in the city centre like you do, we would probably rely on visiting each other to have meetings rather than just dialing us up and getting us round a video call. So it probably has helped actually in some ways with communication, and actually through some of the methods that you guys use in communication has been really useful for us. So we would typically use something like Teams, but you guys use Slack, and you've invited us onto your Slack channel. So we're now actually integrated as a team, and we were talking about like how are we going to give actions across the team, and we were talking about Teams and Trello and Jira, and we had all these different systems potentially going on, and we kind of said between each other, let's just make it really simple. What do you guys use? So rather than us duplicating and having a totally different system, let's all just use the same system. Then we get to see how you're progressing with the things you guys need to do, but you see how you give us tasks as well, so you can hold us to account on some of the things we should be doing.
Yeah, I guess that just keeps everything really transparent throughout. Like, everyone knows where each other are at different parts of the journey.
Yeah, and just like things like re-inviting to your stand-ups now, and that's great. And so one of the team from our side comes. Sometimes we're able to give you a bit of an update. So things like the number of locations that we're going to add. Yeah, we can just drop that in so you're aware of it. It doesn't necessarily impact your day-to-day activity and the development of the app, but it's good to know because at some point it will. So it's really useful to just be able to engage with the whole team rather than say, well, Hive do this and we do that. Let's not talk about everything. So actually that's been really useful.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the hubs then, how many people have used them so far? Do you have like a rough figure on that?
Yeah, I think we've had 20 people use them.
Okay.
We're getting about 10 inquiries a week now with no advertising.
Wow, that's great.
Which is pretty good. And it's just from the physical space and probably doing more posts on LinkedIn and things like that. But we're going to move into a phase now where we'll do marketing and advertising, which is really going to help us. And then launching the app as well will make it a lot easier because it's a bit of a clunky process at the moment. So yeah, really excited to kind of see more people using it and getting some more feedback.
Yeah. And you mentioned there about the app. So is that an actual app going on the App Store?
Yes. So for the pilots which we've run over the past year, we've used a web-based booking system, which has been fine for the purposes we've needed it so far. But we felt this kind of need to have a native app so that the customers it's easier for them to use, but they're more connected to the service as well. So it becomes part of their habit and part of their routine. So that transition, and actually very early on where we're saying, well, do we want a native app or a web app, was actually a really important part of the process to start with, to just understand how far can we get quickly. Because a lot of what we've been doing with you is saying, well, what's the least we need to test the next thing? And so the native app is the next part of that journey to get us to a point where we can integrate everything we need to and make it really easy for customers.
Yeah, I think I read at some point somewhere, and don't quote me on this, but it was something like 90% of use on people's phone is, using an app compared to 10% in a browser. And as people will mostly be booking this service through their phone, because then they're going to need their PIN to get into the actual hub, right? I guess that's kind of where having an app is really important, just to kind of make the whole process so much more smooth for the user. Yeah,
absolutely. I think when you imagine the experience that we're creating is that somebody's getting to an office to probably do some work, probably jump on a call. what you don't want to be doing is getting there and spending even 2 minutes trying to figure out how to get in. You want to be able to do that process really quickly, and being able to make that really easy for the user is really important. So that next step for us with the app will just make it even, I mean, it's quite easy already, but actually this will make it that next step easier as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I found it quite easy, unlocking the door and locking it again and getting in. It was, just putting the numbers in, but I'm sure you'll always be looking for ways to improve that even further. So what's next then? Go short term first, then we'll talk about long term.
Yeah, so I think short term is getting the service live, so that our customers can book, pay, enjoy the hubs without us having to do anything. So at the moment we're in the process as people, and that makes it difficult. So we launched the app, opened 3 more sites, so we've got 4 in Sheffield altogether, and working towards getting funding so we can scale up even further is what's happening next. That's kind of the short term. The long term is just how big can we make this, but also what else can we get people to do in our hubs that's really creative and productive. I've got a vision of it being a way to get into the virtual world, so either through AR or VR, and our hubs being a gateway into that world, using 5G connectivity and having the equipment there for people to use, and effectively creating virtual meeting rooms in our hubs. It's quite a different thing, or actually just getting them as gaming hubs. That'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's obviously the first time I've even heard about those thoughts, and I can sort of imagine that. So would you have like VR equipment physically already in the hub?
Yes. Yeah, we would. And this is the point where my practical brain kicks in.
Yeah.
And I think of all the challenges that creates, which there probably are quite a few of them, and maybe people at this point in time will have their own equipment that can carry around with them easily, and that it's been reduced in size and it's like a glasses type thing rather than a big piece of equipment you have to have at the moment. But it'd be great to have that kind of environment where you can go in and connect virtually to your colleagues and be sat in the same room but not in the same room.
That is a really interesting thought. Yeah, and I guess in the words of Napoleon Hill, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe he can achieve. Although I don't really like how it's a bit like sexist and outdated now, that it's about men, and yeah. But anyway, all right then. So yeah, I think I've asked all the questions that I was quite keen to find the answers to. Is there anything else you want to discuss in terms of the hubs at this point?
Probably maybe not in terms of the hub, but just kind of the experience of working with you guys and the wider team's been great. It's been able to start with an idea, get a physical thing and a digital thing together in quite a short time scale has been really challenging and massively rewarding. So it's been great, kind of the experience we've had, the kind of opportunities we've kind of gone through, and actually getting some challenge, not just in terms of how you've helped with the app side and the branding side, but the whole business and the proposition has been really useful.
Yeah, well, thank you on behalf of Hive, and I don't want to talk for other people at Hive, but I feel like a lot of people have really enjoyed this whole process because they've learned new things in the tech world which they probably wouldn't have learned otherwise. So it's been really useful to a lot of our team, I'm sure. So yeah, thanks for coming on to have a quick chat about this, Neal. And to anyone watching or listening, I do hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.